This video falls under fair use. Fair use allows commentary, criticism, and reactions. What's up, back with another one. Today I'm showing you a clip of Rich Paul speaking on Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Check this clip out.
Back to North Carolina, etc.
Right.
He comes Carolina.
With the powder blue, yeah.
It was only, by the way, back then, it was only 3 colorways. And so if you bought a pair of shoes, but here's the other thing. People didn't buy MJs because they wanted to be just like Michael Jordan. That was half of the people, half of the consumers. You know what the other half was? They wanted to be like Max, who had the BMW and the cute girl that had on Michael Jordan.
Sure.
So now,
the influencers.
if you get both of those consumers, you have the entire market share.
That's interesting.
Because, so for the visual learners, we have Brand Jordan, or Michael Jordan at this time. Michael Jordan had 2 really, really, really great partners. One in Nike, of many, but these are 2 I chose. And the other one in Gatorade.
Okay.
Now, from a marketing perspective, they told 2 of the greatest stories. Nike, Air. I believe I can fly. If you put these shoes on, they had people jumping off garages.
Rich, I had a pair of Jordans, like the Jordan 3s. You never saw someone with less hops than especially me at 13 or whatever, getting this high off the ground with my tongue out of my mouth.
Did you feel like you can fly?
Yes.
Great.
Yes, I did.
From a Gatorade perspective, it was the fuel to win. And it was Gatorade that created the lullaby, like Mike, if I could be like Mike. Exactly, right?
Had the whole world trying to be like Mike.
So what's the importance in those 2 things? Not only is it the product of hydration, the product of footwear, etc., it's also the media spin that they to really push these campaigns. They're pushing it. And at a time where we didn't have social media, people didn't have computers in their house in abundance, there wasn't much. You had sports, and he was at the forefront of it, right? Then you have the NBA. Like All Eyes on Me, All Eyes on Mike. It was clear. It was him, and it was everybody else.
Yeah.
There was no ifs, ands, or buts about that. That's the other thing. This is one that it's a little touchy.
What timing epidemic? What does that mean?
Yes, because the timing, not just the epidemic, but also hip-hop. When you think about the first influencers were guys like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. What shoes did he wear?
This is getting back to what you said, and you used me as an example because I was sitting in front of you. You said, it's not that Michael Jordan did this, it's that the influencer who had the BMW or whatever, you said, like Max with the fly girl and the BMW. So you're saying
what
that
I was saying was the hustler was the influencer in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood.
Especially in the black community.
In the neighborhood, the epidemic wound up concentrating wealth in a few people who could floss in front of the neighborhood.
Because these people had basically not even careers or high-paying jobs. They just had hustles. So now when you bring forth the epidemic, it created a revenue stream amongst a group of consumers that, number one, would have never had that dollar to spend, and they I'm sure wouldn't have had it to spend excessively.
Let me jump in real quick because this statement that Rich Paul made about Michael Jordan and his shoes is nasty work. You best believe LeBron James told Rich Paul to go on a podcast tour and spread this propaganda.
So and you're
saying because was more accessible, cheaper, etc., it had a different effect than say which because it's not like the trade wasn't always there.
But that was a different time. In the 70s, people wore shoes and suits and pants,
not jeans and sneakers.
In the late 80s and 90s, people wore sneakers. So now when I'm talking about the timing of it, not just the actual being able to the excessiveness from a dollar, right? Because you're creating this dollar, but at the same time, it's also the thing of choice, the actual thing of choice.
Because the idea of like social media influencer, is like what you're saying is pre-social media influencer. There were still social influencers. They
Martin
just weren't.
Lawrence.
There just wasn't any social media.
And then when you talk about what they call product seeding or product placement, what they did extremely well was every guy who was somebody on a show, they placed the product. So you couldn't see it on Instagram. So where'd you see it?
TV.
Oh, I saw in this episode of The Fresh Prince or this episode of Martin. And then you heard it in the music. Oh, and then on my way to school, I not only saw, because many people wasn't seeing the games. The Bulls played on WGN, by the way. And it wasn't like
I
you
could
had all
watch
these.
the Bulls if it was nationally televised or if they played the Knicks. That
That's
was it.
it. Because your local feed, right? But I did get to see, in my case, my Uncle Lance or Bernard Sawyer, just different people that in my neighborhood that had. So now I'm influenced by that, and I love Michael Jordan. So now I want, not only because Mike is wearing them, but I also want them because these guys are wearing them too. And when you created that, that's how he created the greatest athlete brand ever, because Michael Jordan didn't share the market. He controlled the market. There's a difference between the two. Most athletes have a market share. He controlled the market. So much so, when people had children, they bought, my little cousin came home in the booties.
Yeah.
Right? This has been things for generations. And what happens is the I-95 is what they call the Gold Coast of footwear.
What's up? So what are my thoughts about this? Here's the thing. When Rich Paul makes a statement like this on a public platform, it instantly turns heads because it challenges long-held basketball culture beliefs. He is reacting to how Michael Jordan's shoes became popular, and the claim shifts focus away from performance and marketing towards street influence and underground adoption. Some people believe sneaker popularity came from athletes dominating on the court, while others argue that cultural figures outside the league helped push demand early on. This is where the debate really lives. Rich Paul has been active on several podcasts lately, and many fans notice a pattern of reframing history to elevate modern narratives. That leads some people to speculate whether these talking points are coordinated or simply his personal view. On the other side, most fans still believe Jordan shoes earned their status through winning, visibility, and global moments that defined an era. Make sure to drop a comment, smash that like button, and make sure you subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next video.